All right, let's get right into it. Today we're taking a look at a really fascinating system called Eagle AI, and what it does is use artificial intelligence to basically stand guard over government spending and fight corruption from the inside.
So, think about this for a second. What if an AI could be a digital watchdog for your tax money? Really ensuring every single dollar is spent correctly and efficiently. That's pretty much the core idea behind the system we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so to really get why a system like Eagle AI is such a potential game changer, we first have to understand the world of public procurement. This is basically the government's shopping list, how they buy, everything from office supplies to brand new highways.
And we are not talking about small change here. A massive slice of all government spending flows through this system. This is where our tax money actually becomes roads, schools, and public services. So you can see why the integrity of this whole process is absolutely crucial.
Now, this is where things can get a little messy. Because there's so much money involved, the system has some serious weak spots. We're talking about stuff like bid rigging, right? Where suppliers who are supposed to be competing against each other are actually secretly agreeing on prices behind the scenes. Or maybe you see the same few companies winning contracts over and over and over again, which is, a huge red flag. And of course, there's the classic problem of just straight-up inflated prices. It makes ensuring fair play a massive challenge. So how in the world do you spot these red flags in an absolute sea of data? That is the real challenge. With the old ways of doing things, trying to oversee this massive flow of money is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. A very, very big haystack. Let's just focus on one of those terms for a second: supplier collusion. This isn't just some jargon. It's a very specific kind of cheating where companies that should be rivals are secretly working together to drive up prices. And who pays for that? The public does, to the tune of millions. And here's the root of the problem. All the data is scattered. It's stuck in different digital file cabinets, so to speak, across all these different government agencies. Any checks have to be done by hand, which is incredibly slow. By the time a suspicious pattern is if it's even found, the money is already long gone. But this is where the story takes a turn. Facing all these challenges, a new tech-driven solution has emerged. So let's meet Eagle AI. Now, this system comes from a group called Young Eagles of Transformation Kenya. So this isn't just some faceless piece of technology. It's a project with a very clear purpose, and it's driven by people who are trying to build the solutions of tomorrow today. And their vision really says it all. The whole goal is to build a smart governance infrastructure. What does that mean? Well, it's about empowering governments to stop making slow, reactive decisions and instead make ones that are informed, transparent, and backed by actual, real-time data. So, the big question is, how does this AI watchdog actually work? Let's pop the hood and get an eagle's eye view of the mechanics behind Eagle AI. This diagram shows you the basic idea. See, up at the top, you've got the existing government systems, procurement, tax, you name it. Eagle AI doesn't try to replace them. Instead, it acts like an intelligence layer that just plugs right into them. It's that data integration layer and the AI analytics engine in the middle that connects all the dots between that fragmented data we talked about, giving officials a single, unified dashboard to see what's really going on. Okay, let's zoom in on just the procurement part. This workflow shows you the data pipeline in action. Over on the left, a supplier submits a bid. That info goes into the government's tender portal. But here's the cool part. Instead of just sitting there, it's immediately fed into the AI procurement analyzer. The risk engine then detects anything that looks weird, and bam, it flags suspicious tenders on an audit dashboard for a human to review. And this all happens in real time. So here's that process broken down. First, the system sucks in all that real-time bid data. Step 2, its AI models get to work scanning for all those telltale signs of collusion or bid rigging. Third, it benchmarks the prices against what things should actually cost to see if they're inflated. And finally, if it finds anything suspicious, it automatically flags the tender so a real person can investigate. So, what's the big deal? Well, the potential impact of a system like this is just enormous. We're really talking about a fundamental shift in how public funds are monitored and protected. This comparison table really just lays it all out. We're moving from a manual and slow process to one that is automated and instant, from data that's all over the place to a single integrated view. And here's the most important part. We're moving from being reactive, chasing down corruption after it's already happened, to being proactive and potentially stopping it before it even starts.
The benefits for everyone are pretty clear. You get way more transparency in how your money is being spent, you get a huge reduction in corruption risks, you get better value for public funds, and you get a whole new level of accountability for the people in charge of spending that money.
And that really brings us to our final thought for today. If something like corruption can be monitored in real time, what does that truly mean for the future of accountability? It's a powerful question, and it's one that systems like Eagle AI are starting to force us all to answer. Thanks for joining me on this one.